Let me guess, you're working a 9 to 5, you're creating YouTube videos on the side, and you're wondering, can this actually make me money? I was right there with you too. In this video, I'm breaking down how I started making income from YouTube without quitting my job. So let's get right into the video. Today we're going to be talking about the 4 main income streams that I use as a part-time creator, how I batch my content around my 9 to 5, how small channels can still land brand partnerships and sponsorships, and the mindset shift that stopped letting me treat YouTube as a hobby. So just for context before we get into the video, I started YouTube a long time ago. I'm talking about when YouTube started, creating vlogs in my parents' house, doing literally nothing as a 12-year-old. And then I just kind of fizzled off, started getting more into social media, started learning more video production, so that's what I do as a day job. However, as time went on, I started creating YouTube a little bit more during the pandemic in 2020. When there was a show that came out on Netflix, I decided it would be really cool before they announce if they're gonna renew for a season 2, making predictions on what's gonna happen in the show. I made one video and that blew up overnight. I'm talking 24 hours, over 100,000 views on YouTube. And for me, that was kind of like my dream. I've kind of wanted to do YouTube for a really long time, but I never put the actual effort into it. So seeing that overnight was like everything to me. So I continued, the consistency was there. I would post once or twice a week and it would be really good engagement. I think I saw like my first 1,000 subscribers on that channel. Then it continued growing. And eventually with that channel, before I stopped making videos, I was sitting at about 5,000 subscribers. So there was proof that it could happen. And what I learned from that was that the consistency was what I needed. However, I was a little young and dumb, didn't know how to nurture that kind of audience, that kind of relationship, that kind of effort towards creating videos. And it fizzled out, long story short, and the show did not get renewed for a season 2. So it taught me an even better lesson that whatever I want to provide value in, I need to know that I can talk about it, be about it for life. Like it's something that is valuable to me, therefore it can be valuable to you. So that kind of spearheaded everything where I created this channel. And 3 years ago, in September of this year it will be, I would have had this channel and I just reached 10,000 subscribers last week. So it's really cool when like you see how much the effort and consistency pays off, but you have to be willing to love it. And that is what is most important before you start. If you want to start part-time, full-time, forever on YouTube or social media in general. 4 main income streams that I use. AdSense, which is the most common, I believe, in my limited knowledge of now earning money on YouTube. You're not gonna generate thousands of dollars just because a video gets over 10,000 views. It doesn't work like that. It can be sort of passive income that you can maybe like pay off a small bill, pay for your gas every month, stuff like that as you start being a little bit more consistent when you hit that 1,000 follower mark and that 4,000 watch hour mark. Watch time and consistency matters. So when you're doing AdSense, you need to make sure that you are posting at least twice a week. There's a video that I did last week where I was talking about kind of reaching 10K, what that looked like. If you missed it, feel free to check it out. But I really talk about how important it is to really understand how bad you really want it, because if you decide one day you don't want to wake up and do YouTube or you don't want to create a video because you don't feel like it, it's not going to be worth it. You're not going to see the fruits of your labor when you feel like it. You really have to show up and do it when you have the opportunity to create. AdSense is how I get paid. So what that looks like is that there's ads on these videos where you'll probably see one or have already seen one. And that lets people see, okay, I can run my ad on this person's video. They generate a few views and then I get a cut of that. Whatever that cut is. It could be a couple dollars, it could be 20 bucks, it could be 60 bucks, but when you're first starting out, it's usually no more than like 100 bucks. Depending on what your watch time looks like, how your views are generating, that's just kind of what I've seen. What's important to remember with AdSense is that you have to hit a payment payout threshold. So some people could be $10. I think they may have raised it. I don't know if this is applicable to everyone, but I know that there's a $100 minimum in order for you to take out the money that Google, YouTube wants to pay you. And then that kind of can be linked to your bank and you can figure out how to do that. Just make sure you keep up with it for tax purposes because you're gonna have to figure that out. And I'd highly recommend to do it at the start so you're not scrambling to do it as time goes on when you get to that point in your life. The second way is affiliate links. I used to do affiliate links like on Amazon. I did one, I think, on TikTok for a little bit, but it wasn't really my lane. I don't have that much information on it, but what I have learned is to recommend products that are in your niche. I have seen people sell all kinds of products and I couldn't really tell why I should continue like following following that person or seeing what their value is because I know that they're just getting a bunch of things and trying it out. That's great. Maybe one day I can see myself doing that if I just get curious. But for me, I love content creation. So I'm going to recommend microphones, cameras, phone tripods, like things that are really useful to the average content creator. That's what's going to be the smartest move in your affiliate, because one, you're passionate about it, so you love talking about it, but also two, you can bring more things onto your channel to show how it works. The things that you use to show other people this is a great investment, you can also use for yourself. So it's a win-win. So don't do something that you really don't want to talk about or do just because you know you can make a couple dollars over time times 200 of that. You don't want to be selling a bunch of like bookmarks if you don't even own one book. Like get a phone tripod, which is something I've recently talked about. It was actually a really great investment. And every time someone gets something, I get $2.10 on that product. So that just depends. Sometimes you can put yourself like on TikTok. So that's where I've done that. This is your proof. Even if I wanted it to fall, I couldn't let it. Look. And I will get the product, do my genuine, honest review, because if I don't like it, I don't want to tell someone else to spend their money on it. Sometimes it works for someone, sometimes people love it, sometimes people hate it. I can't do anything about it. I can only talk about how I feel about it and guide people in the best direction, and they can make their own decisions. So for you, that's what it can look like if you're a lifestyle creator, a beauty creative, you know, a filming creative, like whatever you do, get things into your affiliates that are related to your niche, period, point blank. The most commonly asked thing are brand partnerships, especially as a small channel. So for me, even though I've hit over the 10,000 subscriber threshold, I still consider myself a small creative. 100,000 and kind of beyond is like macro, but it's not like 1 million. And it's not to say you have to have 1 million subscribers to be someone who provides value and is a great YouTuber. I know YouTubers who have 500 subscribers, and I am daily checking in, watching and supporting and commenting and liking their videos. Which brings me to my point. If you have not commented below, let me know which income stream that you would do if you started today, because I want to know. And if it's hard, I'm hoping I'm making it easier. Brand partnerships are possible as a small channel. Even before I hit 10,000 subscribers, I think I got my first brand partnership from TikTok primarily, but BetterHelp was my first partnership like ever with this podcast. And it was something that was so special to me because I told myself that was the brand partnership I wanted. I wanted mental health awareness. I wanted therapy options. I wanted things that would help benefit people because I felt like I was also giving value to others. So for you, think about the kind of brands that you want to partner with. If you have nothing in mind, nothing can come to you. The fact that I had that specific brand in mind, like I believed BetterHelp and Party of One podcast was going to collaborate, here we are. You have to set your intentions. And if you don't believe it, it absolutely won't happen. Like you can't like kind of believe it some days. I was so delusional. I was like, BetterHelp's gonna be my first partnership with Party of One podcast. I kid you not. 4 months later, they reached out to me over email randomly. They just thought my content fit what their product or brand or service was exemplifying. And I was like, whoa, this is wild. And it was the first time in my life that I realized you really do have to think it, believe it, be it, in that order. You think about it, you believe how you can make it happen, work towards it, create action towards it, and then all of a sudden you're walking in that reality, you're walking in that prayer. Niche matters for brand partnerships more than size ever will. So just because you have a bunch of followers or subscribers or whatever on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, it does not matter. Brands care about engagement. They care about conversion rates. And this is where working in social media has been really beneficial to me building my own brand, because I have to look at that data on the back end and understand, why does this work? Why didn't this work? And apply that to my content creation journey. So it's a win-win there. If you have that opportunity, I'd highly recommend it. If you are in high school, college, unemployed, in a job, but you want to switch to a different space, consider looking into like data-driven roles or social forward roles that allow you to understand why do things work, because then you can just apply it to your own brand as you continue to grow. But you'll still do that back end research. Don't just rely it on your job, because there are going to be days where you just cannot get what you're looking out of it from there. You have to want it too. To be completely honest, the brands that haven't come to me, BetterHelp was my first one, but it hasn't been my only one. I actually had most recently, it's like sitting right here next to me, the Yes Soul fitness treadmill literally reached out to me via email and was like, hey, we love what you're doing. At the time on this channel, I was doing the Back on Track series because I'm really passionate about fitness, holistic health, eating well, eating God's food. And they saw one of those videos, said, hey, we'll send you this treadmill for free. Let me know how you feel about it. Talk about it for a couple seconds. Boom. Now there are some partnerships where it's going to be paid. You are going to do something, talk about something of a brand or product, and you'll receive compensation for that, and probably also a product. That's the one most people want. But there are also partnerships and sponsorships where they will gift you. It's called gifting. So they will gift you one of their products of your choice or that they're promoting. And if it aligns with your niche and it aligns with your values and brand, take it. I've been wanting a treadmill for my house for so long and I did not want to pay for one. And it just happened to be that I set my intention. I continued creating content around that. I continued staying consistent. And a year later, what are the odds that a treadmill is actually sitting in my office? It's not to brag or boast. It's just to let you know that the power of your mind is so incredibly important in your content creation journey. If you want to make YouTube eventually your full-time, even a part-time, because you actually love your job and you just want this to be a side hobby, you have to take this into consideration. Some other ways that you can make additional money, even in the brands and sponsorships, you can create digital products. This is a little less from brand partnerships and more from kind of sponsoring yourself in a way. So you're creating Notion templates, you're creating Canva templates, like things that make people's lives easier, and then selling it for a profit. It's a business. At the end of the day, I'm a businesswoman at heart, so I can understand why things are the way they are. If it makes my workflow that much more efficient, I have no problem paying $5, $10, $20 on something if I know it's gonna reap me the benefits I'm looking for. And you have to think that same way. What skill do you have that you can offer to someone at a low cost, but for multiple times at a time? So if I have knowledge on content creation, I may one day create a course, wink, wink. And I really do want it to be something that has value. It may not be a course, it may be a membership, it may be something that can provide additional value outside of what I do. So if I'm doing consulting and I know I can't take on all these clients, I might create one thing that can help multiple people at a cost that's affordable for the value that I'm giving. That can happen for you as well, but you have to start thinking a little bit deeper into what you can offer in that. It was important for me to talk about the 4 income streams the most because that's what people are most caring about, but I'm gonna speed through the rest of these if you're interested in how to continue building this YouTube career. Batching around your 9 to 5, you don't have to quit your job to start YouTube. You can start it while you're in the job. That is what I did. I have been doing YouTube long before my current job, long before my previous ones. I have been doing it before I could even get employed at a job. So that's to give you some perspective that just because you see the channel now does not mean it was always like this. Use weekends. Today is Saturday. Use weekends or evenings for filming. Do not try to film, edit, plan all on the same day. You need to break that up. And that is something that I really, really highly recommend. Batching 2 to 3 videos for the week so you always stay on top of your schedule is pivotal. You cannot get through it by doing it every time you feel like doing it. You're gonna always feel behind. Use Google Calendar, Notion, or Trello, something that helps you manage your workflow to help you keep the thoughts that you have, the topics, the scheduling, the planning of when you're gonna film all in one place, because that has saved me so much time when I didn't wanna waste time. Use your downtime wisely. So sometimes when I'm on lunch at work, I am thinking, what topics do I want to create? What do I want to give value next? What do I have skill-wise, expertise-wise that I can help other people who are looking to grow their brand as well? Because that's what my brand is, personal branding. I'm going to teach you how to be the best version of yourself, build your dream life, use and utilize your skill sets to create a profit and a passion for your life. That is what I do. But most importantly, through that all, you have to stay realistic. If you can only post once a week, post once a week. But if you have the time to post 2, maybe even 3 times a week, do it. Don't waste this time now. I know I talked a little bit about this in point 1, but landing brand deals without having 100,000 subscribers wherever on the platforms is something a lot of people want to know. They want to know how they can make additional income, work with the brands and partner with the brands that they know and love, and still make it happen easily. Spoiler alert, it's not going to happen easily. But if you're prepared, it's going to feel much better. Not easier, but better when you get through that content creation journey. Having a small but focused audience, it's called niching down, is attractive to brands. If they know Party One Podcast to be fitness and water bottles and speakers and hand sanitizers and all these things that don't make sense with each other, they're not going to know how I can pitch their brand or product to other people. But they know Party of One Podcast talks about personal branding, how to build your dream life, how to get better within your fitness, how that ties into your faith, and how that ties into your finances. Those are my 3 pillars: fitness, faith, finance. In some way, shape, or form, I'm always talking about that in one of my videos. And the unsung hero is pitching yourself. Don't wait for brands to come to you. Pitch yourself. You have to have so much confidence and belief in yourself that you do deserve, you can see yourself in this brand, that they can see it before you even have to tell them. Create content like you're already creating for the brand. Understand that your first brand deal might not pay in cash, but it will pay in experience. It will give you a portfolio so the brands that you do want to work with, the ones you eventually will see, can see, oh, they know I can trust them with a 30-second video. And keep in in mind that you don't always have to pitch to big brands. You can pitch to smaller, maybe even more local brands. You can say, hey, I'm building out my content creation. I have X amount of followers. I create this kind of content. Make sure you have a portfolio so that they can see what kind of content you create. That way it's easier for them to say yes. People say no often because they don't have enough information or it just doesn't align with their brand. If they can see that you are aligned with them, it will work. Maybe not at first, but eventually it will. And lastly, the mindset shift. You have to believe that you can touch the amount of money that you want to touch. You have to believe that God has got your best interest at heart, and if you are off the right path, he will steer you on the right one. It may take a little extra time, but you got to trust that if you love it enough, you are okay with the journey that it takes to get there. Stop calling it a hobby. It's part-time or it's full-time. You're either doing it for a little bit of time or a lot of time, but either way, it's making you money. It's giving you passion, it's giving you profit, it's giving you a purpose. Frame it like a business. Even if it's small, that's gonna help you treat your time differently. Focus on value over virality. Ask, who does this help? And would I share this if I saw it? If this video so far has been helpful and you've stayed up until this point, share this video with someone who really needs this, who really wants to be a content creator, who really doesn't know where to start. This is that kind of video for them. All in all, I know I've given you a lot of information, so I'll stop it here, but if you want a part 2, leave this emoji and also let me know if you stayed until this long in the video, and I'll create another part 2 on how to really build and leverage this. But you don't need a massive audience to start making income on YouTube. I started making my first dollars on YouTube with, I think, 7,000 subscribers, maybe 6,000 even. But it was just because YouTube saw me for the last 6 months create and post twice a week, creating and giving value. You need clarity, consistency, and commitment. What's your current YouTube goal? That's what I want to know in the comments as well. What's stopping you from making your first $100? What's stopping you from posting that first video that gets you just a step closer to that? If you want more content like this, please feel free to subscribe. I'm creating twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. If that changes, you guys will always be the first one to know. Actually, the community will be first to know. I've started using that a little bit more, but if that was helpful, please drop it in the chat because I want to only create content that is valuable to you, valuable to me, and valuable for life. So I will see y'all on the next episode of Party of One Podcast. Peace.